Myself and Lenin Rakesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education Research, Chennai. The course name is Rapid Prototyping. Topic today which we are going to discuss is materials for rapid prototyping. So the materials which we are using in rapid prototyping, the plastics, so that will account for the plastics, photopolymers, metals which we are using. If we take the plastics, that will account for the preponderance of our materials, so which we are using in rapid prototyping systems. While in some cases, what we see, the plastics have the same name. That is most important. Plastics are having the same name, and moreover, the homegrown materials such as nylon, ABS, the substantial differences which will come out in the RP system when we compare the results from machining or the injection molding. If you take photopolymers, they are not exactly thermoplastics. So the chemistry of photopolymers, it is very, very rich. The photopolymers, it imitates the polypropylene, ABS, polyethylene, and number of plastics. So the inkjet systems also, it has the output plastic parts and the multi-jet modeling. So that also offers the soft thermoplastic material. So essentially that is the hot melt adhesive. If we take inkjets, that offers the polyester or wax-like materials. If we take the metals, the available choices, it is extremely limited for the direct fabrication of metal parts, say by rapid prototyping. Today, if we take the metal parts by rapid prototyping, we can make the injection molds also. So here, the term rapid prototyping itself, it is the additive manufacturing. So the variety of industries for describing the processes. So we can rapidly create the representation of the system or the part which is prior to final release or commercialization. So the 3D CAD data, so without using the part dependent tools. So here originally it was called the 3D printing. So here if we check out the 3D printers, it involves some basic approach also, say for printing also. So for transferring the substrate in the multiple layers, beginning with the bottom layer. So this technology also, it has the initial focus on polymers and the photopolymers. So that was later on, it was supplemented by the ceramics, metals, and the composites. But here the most widely used RP technologies and the materials which we are using is popularly the thermoplastics, the photopolymers, plastic powders. So all these we are using, and later it was supplemented by ceramics. So here the photopolymers, plastic powders, say for direct metal laser sintering, it is nothing but the DMLS. And the metal powders for direct metal powders we are using for the EBM, electron beam, and the beam melting and the selective laser melting also. Selective laser melting. So for which methods, the printing methods are also, we use the composite starting material. The composite starting material means, example, we can take the cellulose gypsum powder. That is the example of the composite starting material. So we use the composite starting material and a filling for the 3D printing. Or our LOM. LOM, we have already studied the laminated object manufacturing, for which our films of paper or our plastic and say adhesives we are using. And the ceramics also, that also plays an important role. We can acquire from the limited of resources. So the most closely associated with the LOM. So some companies also can fabricate paper parts. One of the main advantages, it is very inexpensive, but the paper parts are very, very stable. So the paper parts will look and feel of wood. And also it can be used as sand casting patterns. If you take the plaster and starch parts, means for the 3D printing machines, which is made by Z Corporation, it is basically inexpensive material, but it requires some care in handling, and it should be usually filtered. Why? Means for such that it can be durable. If you take the foundry sand parts, it can be fabricated by using selective laser sintering and also by a process from generous GmbH. So that is also similar to the 3-dimensional printing. So that machine is also very appropriate for making very large parts. And here too, we can see the rapid prototyping material. So the improvements of the properties here, such as tear and the thermal resistance, the shape memory, stiffness, photorealistic color, biocompatibility. So all these are the advances, some of our advances, recent advances in our RP materials. It is the rapid prototyping materials. So now we go for the selected techniques for the polymer additive manufacturing. So here in the FDM, fused deposition modeling printers, that will work on the material extrusion principle. So for printing the desired parts, you can see the motor, the filament, you can see the extruder, printing bed. So all this, so this is the selected techniques for our polymer additive manufacturing. Say for the FDM process, what we are using. So in the FDM process, if you are taking, it is also one of the best methods of, say, rapid prototyping. The best method. So the thermoplastic filament you can take, that will be basically unwound from our coil. You can see, and you can see the coil, and the material will also be supplied to the extrusion nozzle. Here the nozzle, you can see, that is heated to the melting point of the plastic. And what happens, that will also, you can see the figure, that will include a mechanism such that it will enable the flow of the melted plastic. It can be stopped or it can be continued also. You can see the nozzle, so that will be assembled to the mechanical head. So it can be moved over the table. You can see the table. So here it will deposit a thin bead of the extruded plastic. So that will form the subsequent layer. So if you take the FDM, we have the build material, the support material part, and the printing head with the extrusion nozzles, and the building platform. Next comes the SLA technique, where we use the UV laser for beam for curing the liquid UV curable polymer, say for printing with the higher accuracy. That is what the SLA process. So this SLA, if you take, we use the photopolymerization. You can see the figure. We have the light source, UV laser beam, resin tank, reflector. The reflector which will rotate along X and Y axis, print the build platform, liquid and photopolymer. So here this SLA, stereolithography, it will use the photopolymerization. So that is the oldest technique, but it is the most complex additive manufacturing process. So the SLA machine, it will consist the build chamber. So you can see the build chamber that will be filled with the liquid build material. So on the laser scanner unit also, so that will generate the XY contour. XY contour defines the horizontal build plane, so which will be mounted on the top. If you take the build chamber, it will be equipped with the build platform. So here also the laser beam, simultaneously it will perform the contouring and as well as the solidification of the each layer. So solidification of one layer, the build platform will include and it will partially finish the part. So it will be also, we can lower by the distance equivalent to a thickness of one layer by new layer of resin. It can be applied to the recoater. Then comes the DLP. DLP is the digital light processing printers, where it can print highly accurate parts. How means by using the UV screens. So it is less time consuming than when we compare the SLA process. Here you can see the printing base holder. It will move across the Z axis. We have the illuminated print layer. We have the printing base. We have the print. We have the photopolymer and the resin tank, the UV screen and the platform. Then comes the SLS. So SLS, selective laser sintering, we can fuse the fine powder polymers. So with the laser beam. Here, however, our printed parts, we can produce either rough or say grainy surfaces. So you can see the reflector that will rotate along the XY axis. You can see the print, the printing tank, the laser source, the laser beam, and the leveler drum, and the feed tank and the feed platform. So here on in our SLS. SLS is nothing but the selective laser sintering, or we can also define that as the selective laser melting. So that is most frequently we are using in the additive technologies. So what for means for produce the functionally graded parts. Say it can be used for aerospace, automotive, art, architecture, or say medical applications. So here the process, if you are taking, it will enable the manufacturing of our complex 3D parts. So it will basically enable the manufacturing of our complex 3D parts through our consolidating the successive layers of the powder material. You can see the layer. Here also we will use the laser beam. So that we will use as the heating source to locally heat, and we can sinter the deposited powder also according to our predetermined geometries. So here the sequence of powder deposition also and our laser scanning, that will be repeated till our 3D part is completed. So here if you take the SLS, we can the benefits of our SLS, if we take SLS are durability, the produced parts is highly durable, and our opportunity for our SLS, if we take, we can choose from the wide range of engineering grade materials. So that is available in our RP industry itself. So SLS here, we don't require any support, adequate support. The main disadvantage is here is low accuracy and repeatability post surface finish. If you take the SLS process to produce the polymer matrix composite, here in our SLS process, it is highly possible to produce the polymer matrix composites. So by our mixed ceramic and our polymer powders also, which can be sintered together. So here the best results we can achieve the coated powders, and where our cores of our powders we can derive from our metal or either ceramics, while our coatings are polymers. So some of the powders are commercially available. I will say polyamide EOS, aluminate gas filled polyamide EOS PA 3200 GF, then the carbon fiber filled polyamide. However, the addition of our carbon fibers, that will basically create problem when obtaining the sharp corners. So some of our, we can describe the criterion of our composites. How we can describe the criterion of our composites? So when we can use the coated powders, So the hydroxyapatite film, HDPE, high density polyethylene, RPA polyamide, or a tricalcium phosphate, TCP glass powder we can use, or mixed uncoated ceramics with our polymers, or uncoated ceramic powder with polymer mixtures. All these we can use in our SLS, selective laser sintering, or we can define that as the selective laser melting also. So here in our SLS or SLM method, we can create the metal matrix composite. Metal matrix composite we can create, or the ceramic matrix composites also. So when we want to achieve the full density of produced part structure, either it can be the extra material, so that we need to add to the powder mixture, or the porous green body product, so it should be infiltrated. So here our use of our RP method. So for our industrial design, architecture, for manufacturing, for all the purposes, and the composite materials also we use in rapid prototyping technologies. So our complex materials, so it will also enhance the mechanical as well as the physical and the or our chemical properties. So we can develop the different, actually here the development of the special mixtures, say the powders, we can make the composites by means of using 3DPR, SLS, SLM, selective laser sintering or selective laser melting, that we have seen initially by SLS or SLM. So that we need to mention whether the SLA means LOM, it has the vast potentials. So then if we take the polyjet printing process, fine drops of our polymers, we can spray by the multiple nozzles on our printing bed, and it can be also immediately cured by the UV light. So it is also capable of fast printing with our multi-material deposition. You can see the rail, you can see the UV light, print, build platform, printing base, and the spray nozzle. And next comes our LOM. So in the sheet, LOM sheets, so the sheets of our polymer, so it can be precisely cut or added in our layers. So if we take our LOM process also plays a major role. So we can, by means of this LOM process, when fast printing and large size printing capability are required, we go for this LOM technique, where we have the reflector, laser beam, laser source, the components, the hot leveler drum, printing sheet, feed drum, the print cross hatching, the residue drum, the printing base, and the platform. So in our laminated object manufacturing, so we can produce the parts using the composite build materials. So it will be in sandwich form. So the technology here is prefabricated foil, or you can use the sheets. You can see the figure. So the foil or sheets we can cut by the laser or by the knife according to the sliced 3D CAD file. So subsequently we can bond on the top of our preceding layer. So if we take the bonding of our adjacent layers, that we can perform using the glue, and also the ultrasonic technique, or we can use soldering or diffusion welding. So for forming the object, the heated roller need to be passed. You can see the hot leveler drum. So here the heated roller will be passed over the sheet of our material on the build platform. And then the computer controlled laser, you can see the laser source, that is the computer control, and the blade, you can see the blades. So that will cut the material in the required desired pattern. That is the LOM process. So here our laser that will slicing. Here also slicing plays an important role. So that will slice the excessive material in a cross hatch pattern. So we can easily remove the object once it is fully printed. So we can compare with our other methods. LOM printing, we are using it for large area, say for creating objects with standard letter. We go for our A4 paper. So here in LOM also, LOM method, we have a laser, a scanner, heated roller, platform, the laid part and the support material. So the machines also, it can be used by architects or artists or even product developers. So for producing the affordable models. So we can use the material other than paper. If you take the old machines, some work for creating the composites also by means of this technology. So here by means of our LOM, here in our LOM process, where our sheets we can precisely cut and add it in our layers to make our final product. So here also we can, our bonding can be done of our adjacent layers, how we are doing. So we can use the glue or the ultrasonic technique, either soldering, or we can use the diffusion welding also. Here the fast printing and large size printing capabilities are required. So the LOM technique we are preferably choosing in this process. In other things, if we are taking, we can, the creation of our composites, we can use the coated powders, hydroxyapatite filled, that is the high density polyethylene, HDPE, or high density polyethylene, RPA polyamide, TCP glass powders, or the mixed uncoated ceramics with our polymers, uncoated ceramic powder with polymer mixtures, or by using the SLS and SLS methods, we can create the metal matrix composite or the ceramic matrix composites also. So here, first we have seen about what are the materials and which we are using in RP. Here the materials, say the most popular materials are thermoplastics, photopolymers, plastic powders, say for our DMLS, direct metal laser sintering, and electron beam melting, say electron beam melting, and say SLM, selective laser melting. And some of our printing methods also we use our composite starting material. So it means the cellulose gypsum powder, and you can say the binder for filling the 3DP or the laminated object manufacturing. So in LOM, the films of say the paper or the plastic and adhesive, but these methods we use the homogeneous materials. So here we can introduce new methods. How means we can combine all those. So general attempts has been taken up. We introduce the new methods. That means the materials which are enabling the use of spatial composites. So some also the advancements are there which will improve the properties. We can take the tear and thermal resistance, the shape memory, the stiffness, the biocompatibility, and the photorealistic color. All these takes into account. So if you take SLA, we use the photopolymerization, that is the oldest technique. It remains, but it is the most complex additive manufacturing process. Then if we go for our LOM technique, We can produce the parts using the build material, that is sandwich form. Here, the prefabricated foil or sheets we can cut by the laser or knife. According to the slice, the 3D CAD file, it can be bonded on top of our preceding layer. And then if we go for our 3D printing, there the powder based rapid prototyping process in which our polymer binder is jetted onto a applied powder layer. That is the 3D technology which was developed by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. If you take the SLS process, SLS or SLM, selective laser sintering or selective laser melting, it is used for the additive technologies for functionally graded parts. Say for aerospace, automotive, or say architecture or say medical applications, where complex 3D parts are through our consolidated successive layers of powder material on top of the another, it can be made. So SLS process, we produce the polymer matrix composites by the mix the ceramic and the polymer powders which will be sintered together. Hence in this SLS, it will give the best results. So we can achieve by the coated powders. So where the cores of our powders we can derive by the metal or the ceramic. So our coatings will be the coatings are the polymers, and the powders would be AA filled polyimide, glass filled polyimide, and carbon fibers. So that also will create problems during our sharp edges. So the creation of our composites, HDPE, high density polyethylene, PA polyimide, TCP glass powder. So the SLS, SLM method, so we can create the metal matrix composite or ceramic matrix composite. So extra material we need to add to the powder mixture or to the porous body product. So that should be infiltrated. So we have seen the FDM, we have seen the SL, yes, we have seen the 3D printing and the LOM process and the SLA process. So here most commonly when we test to the potential of our production of reinforcement parts, say the SLS methods, the testing was done with our polyimide powder, with our aluminum oxide powder. If we take the proportions of 75%, say PA 2200 to 25%. So here so it creates little warping effect. So the degree of roughness of our prototype, so it is clean. If we take the reductions of our proportion of our polymer to aluminium, so that should also reduce the parameter. Here our use of our method, so that will give us the preliminary assessment of the product. So our verification of our possible weak points of our design. So we can represent the methods for our future construction of our molds, tools, components. So in industrial design, architecture, reconstructive medicine, additive manufacturing, so some composite materials also in RP technologies we can use. So the RP methods, we can take the complex materials for mechanical or say physical or chemical properties, special mixture of powders. So that is the easiest way to make the composites using the 3D printing or the SLS, SLM. If you take the SLN, LOM, laminated object manufacturing, the fabrication of continuous and short fiber reinforced composites. So it is fast and accurate parts production can be done, and the techniques also need to be further on developed. So our field in additive manufacturing, it has the advantage over the conventional and the production of our scaffold for our biocomposites. So these are the benefits of our SLS, the durability of our produced parts, and our opportunity for SLS. We can choose from the wide range of engineering grade materials. If you take the FDM, fused deposition modeling, so it was developed by Stratasys. So the FDM machines also relatively range of pure materials, say the ABS, elastomers, ABS, acrylonitrile, butadiene styrene polyimide, nylon PA12. So the mixed materials, PC-ABS, all this. So the semi-professional users also, we can use the other materials, so which we can create by the specialized companies or say the users by the composite, say the various composite materials, also the biomaterials. So here it is very porous internal structure. So when being provided by the process, we can infiltrate the manufactured parts. How means by the epoxy resin. For what purpose? For sealing the parts, or we can make it stronger but heavier also. So the materials, say it includes the metals or say the ceramic powders. So, but it is inexpensive when you compare to the other additive processes. Thank you.